Welcome to JLive. I'm Laura Mandel, JArt's Executive Director, and it's great to be with you for JLive, our virtual series of bite-sized conversations about Jewish life and art with the best artists and creatives with Boston connections. Today, I feel so lucky to be with challah maven, Mandylicious, as she is on Instagram, or otherwise known as Mandy Silverman. Some of you probably know she's nationally or internationally one of the biggest deals in challah, and we happen to be very lucky to have her living right here in Sharon. So welcome, Mandy.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so happy to be here together with you.
Great. Well, and I just have to say, I'm always happy to be with you. You were just one of the happiest, most wonderful human beings. So I feel like we have a really special opportunity right now. And of course, for all of you out there, if you have questions while we're talking, please put them in the Q&A and we'll answer as many of them as time allows. So, all right, Mandy, most of us have probably seen your fabulous Instagram account and we have a sense of who you are, but tell us, before you were the queen of challah on Instagram, how did you start baking? Did you bake before you were doing challah?
I baked things, I make cakes and pies and cookies and all that, but challah I did not really go into. I was very afraid of challah because it was a yeast bread and there's all the tradition around it, and it was very afraid to sort of go into the challah specifically because I never made it at home even. It was just, this is what other people do. But then, so then I went, it was nothing. And then one day I was around Rosh Hashanah. My mother had gone to someone's house and had said that they had a challah. And when you cut into the challah, there was honey that came out of it. And my mom called me after Rosh Hashanah and said, you won't believe it. I went to this house. There's this really cool challah that I cut into and there's honey inside of it. And I asked her, how did you make this recipe? And she's like, oh, I don't tell that. That's none of your business. And now, the more I do this, the more I realize there are people that are very sensitive and private about their personal recipes. But at that point in my life, and apparently my mother's life, it was like, what? Why do you have to, you need to, my mom gives all of her recipes. She gives all of her time. She gives everything to everybody. And to not, it was just so unusual to her. And she was it hurt her heart, she's like, why? And that alone, I think, was enough of a reason for me to be like, okay, we're going to figure this out. And I started doing I never, really not really ever made challah before. I tried, and I started looking through all these different recipes and trying all these different things and messing up so many times, because not only was I trying to make a challah at all, which if any of you have tried to make a challah, it's not easy. I have mad respect for anyone who does it. Anyone who says it's easy, well, you're just gifted, so congratulations, because it's not. It's very challenging. There's a lot of things that can go wrong, and I have made every single thing that can go wrong, I have discovered. I like to think at this point, I'm very proud of all of my mistakes. But I was trying to do that. But in addition, I was trying to figure out how to stuff it with honey, which at this point in all of my hundreds and hundreds of stuffing things, which is a lot of things I put in the challah, it's one of the hardest, if not the hardest. So at that point, I thought I had tried everything, but the challahs sort of leaked out. They burnt. It's either the dough, everything was going wrong. I couldn't do it, and I was very disheartened because, unless you're one of the very gifted people that think making challah is easy, when you fail at something, especially something that takes a considerable amount of time, like challah does, it's soul crushing, because you don't know right away if you messed up. You have to wait an hour and a half the first time, and if you messed up then, okay, I didn't mess up then you have to see if you messed up for the second rise, or if the braid messed up. It's a long process of failures, and you can go, man, it was a lot of stress. It is good I didn't take up drinking or drug habit in that period of time, just waiting. Okay, it's gonna be good. And it failed every time. So at that point, I had to do some mental health baking, I figured, because it was starting to get to wear down my soul. And I was just okay, you can't put honey in a challah. Can you put chocolate chips in a challah? And instead of doing like little chocolate chip challahs that you would see like at the bakery. I'm like, just like a whole bag of chocolate chips in the way that I learned how to stuff a challah, what I was trying to do in the honey. And that was amazing. And then I did salami, and then I did buffalo chicken, and then I did cookie dough, and then all these different things. I was like, yes, I have done something successfully. And every time it was just like, yes, give me something else. This is a challenge. And people were trying to like mess me up, but no, I figured it out. I can stuff all sorts of things in there. And then it just sort of spiraled from there. I started baking more because my favorite thing to do with baking is not, and I like to eat it all, but I like to see people eat it and be happy. So because of that, I started like making challahs for my friends, that like challahs that they really enjoy, like with flavors that they really enjoy. So my friend Rebecca, she loves Indian food. So I made her like a challah naan, you know, like the Indian spiced potatoes. It was excellent.
It was delicious because I've tried it.
Oh, that's right. I made it for you guys. It's so good, right? It's amazing. So that is all. Thank you, Rebecca, because if she didn't like Indian food so much, I would have never even considered doing it, because I never had even made Indian food in general, let alone try to make it good enough and then stuff it in a challah and then bake it. So all those sorts of things, like a large like portion of my recipes are always just inspired by things that make other people happy. Like I have like pulled brisket. Like I was making pulled like brisket, like egg rolls. Like I used to do that because I like to fry things. And then there was a dipping sauce that went with the egg rolls. And my friend, he was like, I just make a challah with this dipping sauce. And I was like, well, I could just make a challah with pulled brisket in it, and then we could use the dipping sauce for the challah instead of egg rolls. And it was great. So all those sorts of anything, like especially the beginning challahs, they're from someone else. And so that sort of just made me bake more and more.
I just have to say, Mandy, first and foremost, I am a terrible baker. My mom is an incredible baker. My parents are really incredible bakers, and I'm a terrible baker. So I just love that you owned it and named it, that this is really hard. And like, not all of us are made to bake challah. I would rather buy others. but your determination is inspiring to me, I have to say, because you're like, I couldn't do it. And I just kept going. Admirable. So I also have to say the timing of this conversation is what I would call bashert or fated, because this year, as some of us know, it is almost a confluence again of Hanukkah and Thanksgiving. And a few years ago, back in 2013, I believe it was Dana Gattell, who's another local, who coined the term Thanksgivica. And I love that Thanksgivica is actually central to the Mandylicious story, because you told me that basically part of Mandylicious was born from Thanksgivica 2013. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yes. So my mother called me Rosh Hashanah, September time, 2012. And then it was a year before, a few months of me figuring out how to make challah, then people realizing that I'm crazy and I would do all sorts of crazy things to make the challah. And then maybe convincing me to actually give it to people that are not my friends, that don't have to say it's yummy, because otherwise that would hurt my feelings. So that was in October of 2013. And I made 15 challahs that week. And it was like, wow, that was a lot. And I had a few different flavors. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this once a month. I'll make challah and it'll be a thing that I do. So the next month was November 2013. And I was like, okay, I'm going to have to do something special for Thanksgiving. What challahs? Okay, turkey. And I should do pumpkin. So I'm like, oh, you know what? I'll take a challah and I'll make it I'll make a pumpkin spice challah recipe. And then to cuten it up, I'll make it look like a turkey. And it was very exciting because but see that right there. There's the pumpkin spice tummy, and I made a baker's dozen of pull-apart rolls, and I had a little sprinkle beak and a little sprinkle waddle, which I had to Google the name because I had no idea what it was called, but it's called a waddle. Everyone, so if you're on Jeopardy, you're welcome. And then it's a chocolate shabai, right? So that's what I did. I took this picture that is not good. I'm not a very good photographer, but that was like, whatever, it was good enough. I put it on my Facebook page. That was Mandylicious, that had at that time probably not even 100 followers. And I was like, ta-da, this is what we're having for Mandylicious Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, Thanksgivica. And they were all, the picture got very popular. Like it got shared many, many times. And it turned out that people drove this from really far. Like there was people came from DC and Connecticut and New Hampshire and Maine, I think Maryland. I feel like a lot of places people drove to get, like they made like a road trip, like, you know what? We wanted to see Boston anyways. Let's go and get a turkey while we're almost near Boston. I was like, okay. So that was a big boost for people just to sort of recognize the name Ann Delicious and this sort of the crazy things. Now that's the last night's turkey. That's my newest turkey. Yeah, see it? Like, that's actually not a good picture, but it's a better turkey because it's got a gigantic cinnamon roll in it, and there's chocolate chips in the little pull-apart rolls, and there's a cinnamon roll in the neck of the turkey. Yeah,
That looks so delicious.
that is very exciting.
Okay, so to make all of our mouths water a little more, tell us, you've made the most insane combinations of things over the years. Let's talk about a few of your favorites. And I know we have some photos to compliment.
Oh, good. Okay. So definitely like the meat-filled ones are my favorite. I love sweet things, of course, but the meat-filled challahs are great. So I do with salami and the brisket and the pulled buffalo chicken. That is a Reuben challah. Then I made a rye challah dough, and then it's got sauerkraut and the corned beef and like a Russian dressing like inside every strand. That is excellent. That's all the things I like.
That right now.
Me too. I'm a little snacky, so I could go for that. We can have it done in like 3 hours. We can start now. It'll be good.
And when we're done.
I'll stretch. Oh yes, and then I do, because at first one of my crazy things that I did was probably most people didn't do it then, was put rainbow sprinkles on challah. So that sort of became my thing. It's my original logo was made of rainbow sprinkles. The rainbow sprinkle challah is like most popular. But then then when everyone was making rainbow sprinkle challah, I had to, kick it up a notch. So every year I try and do a different fun rainbow themed challah. Usually just like this year I did something like looks like an Oreo rainbow, but that is a cupcake batter, rainbow cupcake batter. And that is one of my favorite rainbow challahs ever, because like the whole time, it's a pain in the petunia, that one, I'm not gonna say that one's like a quick challah. And because you don't, like I said, it takes you a long time before you get to the moment if it was successful when you cut into it. And when I cut into that one, I was like, yes, because it also even had the little arch. So I was really quite proud of that one.
Well, and I have to say, Mandy, something that's so amazing to me is I know you probably taught thousands of people across the country at this point to make rainbow challah. You have become the go-to for rainbow challah baking classes.
That's one of the things that I do is the rainbow challah baking class. And it's always hard to dye the dough itself. So when I come up with something that doesn't involve dyeing the dough, and it's also very popular, so it's much quicker. So even though the rainbow cupcake batter was like a little bit longer, it's still easier than trying to color the dough, I think.
Interesting.
Well, this is Baby Yoda. So it was, this was a pandemic challah invention because I felt like I feel like, I don't know, sometimes during like the pandemic, I was like in like waves of like creativity when I was like very happy. I had just gone to see my family for the first time on Passover. We missed like the first Passover, but then this was Passover, and I was like, you know what? I was so happy that I was like, what like things that make me happy as Baby Yoda. I don't really like Star Wars. My husband loves Star Wars. My brother loves Star Wars. My niece, my nephew, my children love Star Wars. But I was like, I need to make a Baby Yoda challah for May the 4th. And it was another one of those things that I was like, okay. And then at the end, but he really does look like Baby Yoda made of challah. I think he's adorable. So that one really makes me happy.
He's totally adorable.
Right? Yeah. It's a happy time, and I love challahs that bring interest, not just like, obviously the Jewish piece is important, obviously, but I also preach heavily that challah is for everyone, and no matter what your religious background is, or if you're observant, or if you're even Jewish. So when I come up with a challah that is appealing to a larger audience, then it makes me very happy, and that was one of them. So that was cool.
And I just want to tell you, I love that so much because I have found so many people who aren't Jewish who identify with Jewish culture through challah, and it's such a powerful thing.
It really is. No, you're right. I get not no emails. I got like several emails about asking if they're not Jewish. Am I allowed to make challah? Of course you are.
Fascinating.
So it is a very powerful food. So that's my marshmallow hot chocolate challah. It took me, so I do make challahs with marshmallows. Marshmallows are one of the most popular things that people ask if it can go into a challah. And it can, but a lot of times, most marshmallows are, as they bake, will, instead of like just staying put or melting, they expand and they burst out of the challah. So when you cut it, it's sweet, it's delicious, it's sticky, it's not bad. but it's not necessarily what you're hoping for. So it's one of those, like, I also like jelly beans don't work in challah, like gummy bears and Skittles, those sorts of things don't really work in challah, but marshmallows don't. But I was always trying to figure out, like, how am I going to make marshmallows work in challah? And you can either get really large marshmallows; those have a higher chance of staying together during the baking because there's more of them. And this is the marshmallow hot chocolate one, where I realized, you know what? If you just stick the babies on the top at the last 10 minutes, you can have marshmallow challah, and it'll be so much easier. And I did, and everyone made marshmallow hot chocolate challah. That's marshmallow hot chocolate challah.
Amazing.
Cinnamon inside and chocolate, and then the marshmallow goodness on top. It's great.
Randy, you're a true food scientist in all of this, which totally intrigues and amazes me because my mom is actually a food scientist. So,
wow, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So, for those of you who don't know, I find this astounding that you have more than 35,000 followers on Instagram from around the world. You have posted almost 2,000 photos of these chalot and more over the last handful of years, which is kind of amazing. When did you know you had success with Instagram?
Well, see, so September 2012, I made my first challah. October 2013, I made my first, Mandalicious challahs. And then, like, around October, November 2014-ish is when I started on Instagram. Because everyone was saying, you should do it. And again, I'm not good with the things. So I had my friend's daughter actually create me an Instagram account. And it took me a long time. It took me, even after I started the account, it took me several months to even realize that there was direct messages that people were messaging me. I was like, you can get messages on Instagram? Where? And they're like, no, just push that triangle. I'm like, huh. No idea. So I don't know how many messages I missed at the beginning, but when I could discover that I could get messages on Instagram, I had all these messages from everywhere. People asking me all these questions, frustrated people that were going through the same sort of like heartache and stress. And like, is it going to work that I did? And it occurred to me that the Instagram audience is not like a Facebook audience. It was reaching globally, and people globally, no matter where you are, what you're doing, or how smart you are, you have issues with challah, and they needed help. And I was like, Instagram is not going to be like for my Mandalicious local business. Mandalicious should be there to help the people. So I made all these mistakes. There's zero reasons why people should feel like they don't know what's going on when you can just ask me. I'll tell you. And so that's what I did. I started dedicating a lot of my time to just answering questions one-on-one and sharing recipes, because everybody can know all of my recipes. It's fine. I'm not going to share them with you. And it started to grow. So that's why I think the audience is so real. It's so genuine. And so it's because it's not like flashy or whatever. It's people who just talk to me, and they talk to their friends who know that I'm like a safe place. This is a safe place for you to go with all of your challah questions. Because I never ever would make you feel bad for asking a question, because I understand. I'm not a perfect. And I know that when I was trying to make like my challah recipes for the first time, I was trying different recipes in different cookbooks and trying to figure things out. I wished I could ask the people who are making these recipes. And sometimes you try and message these people and they don't write you back, or they don't give you answers that are helpful. So it was really important to me that these people, everyone, and it's still important to me that people talk to me so they know that I'm okay to talk to. They always say, if you want a recipe, I put a whole bunch of my recipes are easy to get on Instagram, but if you want my regular recipe, message me and I'll give it to you. I'll tell you how to get it. And the reason for that is I'm not charging you money. I'm going to give it to you. I just want people to just know that I'm a person that they can talk to, and I'll respond to their messages as quickly as I can. So I think that has helped build the audience. And I think I just noticed it grow and grow as more and more people were trying the fun things, and they were making the challahs unique to them, and the flavors that they were making for their friends' birthdays that they were showing me. And I was so happy for all of them, because I know how happy it is when you succeed in something that was challenging before.
I feel like this is the ultimate community service mandate. I've never forgotten this, that a few years ago when you sort of flipped from this place of selling challah to a place of really focusing on the teaching, I remember sitting there and thinking, wow, what an amazing thing that you're going to bring your knowledge and honesty to people. And it's not for the sake of making money, but for the sake of helping people make challah. I mean, that's really incredible.
Yeah, well, it makes me feel really good. So it's good. And it's calorie-free, just teaching, versus when I bake a lot of challah. So it really does.
Totally.
I can teach you all day. If I run in place while I'm doing it, it's burning calories. All good. Chalades.
I love it. Okay, so before we run out of time here, there are two more photos that I want to show. One is you made the most incredible letters for us a few years ago for our Beyond Bubby's Kitchen program, the BBK letters. Just to give everybody some context, this was from Beyond Bubby's Kitchen, March 2020. So probably the last thing many of us went to pre-pandemic. And we are all still talking about these chalot. And we loved having you at the event because, again, it wasn't just about the sharing of your challah. It was about teaching, and I think we actually made some challahs. So tell us a little bit more about like events in, why you're so drawn to projects like this.
So it's great when I'm teaching live or the Zoom classes, which I'm doing obviously more of now, which I'm happy about. It's great because you can just get the questions like answered sooner. I love seeing when like that event, I brought this is actually really funny. I brought all these little balls of dough and I brought fillings and I showed people how you would stuff a challah. Like you flatten it, and they all did it. They would take home those little stuffed little balls of dough. I had a bunch of samples of challahs that you can make and a slideshow of all crazy challahs that I made, like a piñata challah. That was new then. It was really funny. Like you pour out a challah and put like sprinkles inside, and then when you open it up, it's like woo! It's like a piñata challah. It's very exciting. But that was so like doing that, being able to teach people and see like the first time, like them understand how it's done or be able to ask a question. Those are always like what I'm trying to get out of a class. And even on Zoom, which is great because I'm able to now. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic, people realize that you can have this relationship, not necessarily like in an event space. I'm able to do it more and more and learn more and more about different questions people have and be able to like anticipate them before they have to ask them. So that's always great.
Love that. Okay, we have one important question from the audience before we go to our last thing, which is the conclusion to the honey challah story. There's a very wise question. Did you ever make the honey challah?
Yes, I I figured it out around, I want to say like a year or two after me. It's like I stopped doing it. I was like, look, I got caramelized onions and I got brownie bag. I don't need honey. Who cares about honey? Honey's boring. But I made it like a mission. Like I feel like 18 months or 2 years after I started Mandylicious, and I figured out how she did it. And out of respect for her, I will never teach a class on that. That's the one thing that I won't, because she's very like it's her life. You know what I'm saying? If your life is that you're not going to tell people how to do something and it makes you feel bigger and stronger, then I'm not going to take that away from you. Like people, like if you're in St. Louis and watching this, you know who I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I feel bad, but and I don't want to take away any happy feelings from her. And I won't teach a public class on it. That said, if anyone wants to message me, I'll give very big hints on how it's done. So that's how I've compromised it.
Love it. Awesome. Okay. I could talk to you all day, but we are at the time I promised people. So what I want to know before you leave us today is you mentioned this charity challah bake you're doing with some pretty amazing names like Molly Ye from the Food Network and Smitten Kitchen, who I know lots of us love. So tell us about this charity challah bake.
Okay, so I was wanting to do a big challah class because challah and Hanukkah, everyone likes to do these things together. And I was trying to come up with, instead of like getting, like usually, it's nice people pay me to teach them things, which I appreciate, but I didn't feel right to get paid for this. And I really wanted to do something for charity. And like, especially this time of year, everyone's trying to think of a good charity to give to. And I started to think, all right, what charity should I ask people to donate to? And I got like overwhelmed because there's so many that are very important to me and so many that I wanted to refer to. And I was like, okay, no, what would be smarter is if it wasn't just me. Let me see how there's 8 nights of Hanukkah. Let me ask 8 of our, of my most favorite Instagram people. And they can pick a charity. And I'll say, if you donate to any of these charities, then you can come and to be in this class, or I'll give you the recording of it. So you can attend the exact time. So I did. I got Molly Ye and Dina Sussman and Debbie Traub from Simply Beautiful Eating, and Whitney Fish from Jew Hungry, and Amy Kritzer from What You Want to Eat, and Miriam Cohen from Overtime Cook, and Melinda Strauss from Melinda Strauss. Am I forgetting anybody? Probably. I mean, I don't even know, but I feel like I got most of them. And then it was just, it was so nice to be in contact with people that are, oh, and Naomi Nachman. So she also is done one of them. So we've all picked a different charity, and they're all being so kind as to like lend their name to it, and then hopefully they share it. My goal is to make this like a huge event where everyone comes. I haven't even started advertising it yet, and I've actually already gotten people who've signed up. And let me tell you, it is so wonderful to know that people are giving to these charities just because they want to learn how to make a challah. And it's a really good present. Like, it's $18 minimum donation, and you just have to send me a screenshot. All the information is on my mchallah.com, my website. And we'll learn how to make this, there's a picture up there, the 8-stranded, see, it's right here. I keep it around. I just like to, it's so sturdy. It is 8-stranded challah menorah. All right, so I learned how to make the 8-strand, and then I turned it into a challah, and I did it so many times so I can make sure that I'm able to teach it to everyone easily, because it's not hard. It's not an easy thing to do to make a 3-strand, which we'll learn to do for the bottom, but certainly not to do a decoration for the top. So that's what I wanted to do that for. And then I also have an all new olive oil, lemon, rosemary challah dough I'll give out to the people who, recipes I'll give to the people who join if they want to make it with that.
Yum. All right. Well, I can assure everyone out there that we will make sure you get the link to this class because it looks fabulous. And I love the intent of the giving, Mandy. This is all so beautiful. This has been so much fun. I think we'll all have to do a class with you one day soon because this has just been wonderful. So,
yeah, I know. So fun. Thank you.
No, thank you. This was great. And of course, for all of you out there, please know JLive is made possible from generous community support from people like you. So if you liked what you saw today, I hope you will make a donation online now. And Mandy, thank you so, so much. We'll see you soon. And happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
See you soon.